chapter from Cosmic. I am on hold. I made the call on the bus to school next day. I remember looking out of the window at all the people queuing outside the post office, standing at the pedestrian crossing, going in and out of the 24-hour Tesco. None of them looked like me, like they'd been specially selected. I was going to win. I dialed. The woman with the friendly voice answered straight away. Drax Communications. Do you want the opportunity to be the greatest dad ever? Yeah, I do. I really do. I was thinking about it all night. I talked for about a minute before I realised she was recording. If you accept the terms and conditions of this competition, please press the star key now. I did. We'll take your call as soon as we can. In the meantime, please hold. Remember, all you have to do is get put through. They started playing classical music. They were still playing when the bus pulled up at the school gates half an hour later. Every now and then the music would stop and the friendly voiced woman would say, "Your call means a lot to us. Please hold." There must be a lot of people in the queue. Maybe Dad was right. Maybe I wasn't that special. I was walking in through the school gates when I got a text alert. Yes, we have our first winner. Yes? What's yes about that exactly? Our first winner is Klaus from Hamburg in Germany and his daughter Anna. Anna's two great passions are thrill rides and helping others, says her father. She once spent 12 hours on the Space Mountain roller coaster at Eurodizzy in order to raise money for a local hospital. She hopes to get people to sponsor her to ride the rocket and so raise money for children who are injured in wars around the world. When her friends heard about this, they wanted to help her. We knew there might be a problem getting through to the number, so they all came to school early and all called the number simultaneously. A boy got through and gave the phone to Anna immediately. She is a worthy winner. In other words, she cheated. I was still on hold during registration. Registration's a noisy business, so no one noticed the music. But first lesson was maths with Ms. Jewell, and maths with Ms. Jewell, it's always full of long silences. For instance, Ms. Jewell, square root of 64. Class, long silence. Ms. Jewell, anybody? Anybody at all? Class, more long silence. So this morning I tried to answer all her questions just to keep the noise level and stop her noticing the phone. When she asked something about calculating the volume of a cylinder, I shouted, "Miss, miss!" Liam, there is no need to shout. Miss, miss, if no one else is offering an answer. There is no need to try and attract my attention if you have no competition. Yes, miss. Anyway, miss, it's pi times the... Thank you, Liam. I already know the answer. I already know you know the answer. I was hoping to find out if anyone else knows the answer. Wayne probably knows, miss. He's good at maths, miss, but he doesn't always have the confidence to put his... Liam, I am only too happy to hear your thoughts on geometry. I don't want to hear your thoughts on fellow pupils. Just going back to the volume of the cylinder then, miss, isn't it? Don't go back to it, Liam, and let someone else have a go. Yes, miss. So, volume of a cylinder. Anyone? Anyone at all? Long pause, but not silence. A tinny little orchestra fiddling away. She frowned. She prowled up and down. You could see that she thought it might be in the next room or in her head. Finally she said, "Can anyone else hear music? Or are the angels finally coming to carry me away?" I laughed at this. Probably too loud and definitely too long. No one else joined in, but everyone did stare at me, including Miss Jewell, who stared at me and then at my pocket. "It's Holst, isn't it?" she said. I said, "No, miss, it's me," thinking, who's Holst? "This music was written by Gustav Holst. It's called The Planets. It's not the usual rubbish. Why are you playing it?" "Well, miss, I saw this thing on the telly about how if you play classical music in the background, your brain really likes it, and it makes extra pathways through your synapses. You get brainier by just listening to classical music. It definitely works, miss. Look how many questions I've answered this morning." She was sort of humming along to the music now. I took the phone out so she could hear better and asked, "Why is it called The Planets, miss?" I know this was cynical, but she's a teacher. She loves questions. Miss Jewell talked non-stop for the whole lesson about music, about Greek mythology, about the solar system. At one point, she tried to explain just how far away Neptune was, and everybody gasped. And then she said, "And it's a very near neighbour compared to the stars." And she did a massive calculation on the board to show how far away the nearest star was, both in kilometres and light years. It was the best lesson she ever gave us, but I was still on hold by the end of it. I did get another text alert, though. Our second winner is Samson Tutur from Waterloo in Sierra Leone. Samson, too, is the cleverest boy in the country. Recently, his class was given a geography project about irrigation. Some of the other boys got A grades. Samson 2's project was so good the government bought it. His father says, "It is important to push your children hard to achieve their ambitions." Samson 2 and I have fun setting achievement targets. For instance, on his 10th birthday, he set himself the target of becoming president of our country. I set him the target of winning this competition, and he did it by writing a computer program that bypassed the on-hold part of the phone call and put him straight through to the operator. Although he's not interested in fairground rides, he is looking forward to this opportunity to study one of the wonders of the world. I'm sorry, but if you already live in Waterloo in Sierra Leone instead of Waterloo near Bootle, then you really don't need to go and see the wonders of the world. Because you already are one of the wonders of the world. You've got jungles and rivers instead of gas meters and bypasses. It's like the Grand Canyon wanting to come and look at the crack in my bedroom ceiling. Still, 2 lucky winners left to go. During the kerfuffle between lessons, the next one was announced. Our 3rd winner is Max Martinet of Lille in France. Max's father believes in discipline. "So many children today are allowed to run wild," he says. "Not Max. I insist that he does exactly what he's told to do. If children are bad, you must punish them. If they are good, you must reward them. Max does as he's told. I told him to win this competition, and he did." See? All the other kids are getting help from their parents. What's my dad doing? Valeting the taxi. The next lesson was media studies with Mr. Middleton, who blatantly hates me. We watched a DVD about the history of washing powder adverts. No one else noticed my phone playing in the background. I wonder how my credit is holding up. I'd now been on hold for 3 hours. Did it make me want to give up? No. What made me want to give up was the next text message. There were only going to be 4 winners in the competition, and this was the 4th. "We have a new winner, Hassan Zanadu from Bosnia." Hassan's father, Edhem, says, "Childhood is a happy time, and how can we be happy if we don't have the things we want? So I give Hassan everything he wants. After all, it's only money. And I always get more money. For instance, he really loves thrill rides, and he wanted to be the first ever to ride the rocket. So I found the number of a girl who won it for charity. I phoned her and I offered to give the charity twice as much money as she could raise with sponsors. Simple. Everybody has their price." If the competition was over, then the music should stop and the line should close. But the music was still playing. Oh, and then I realised if he'd bought the German girl's place, then he wasn't the 4th winner. He was a replacement for the 1st winner. There was still 1 chance left. And now the music had stopped, and there was the ringing sound. I was being put through. I pulled the phone out of my pocket and got ready to speak. A hand snatched the phone out of my hand. It was Mr. Middleton. I pleaded with him not to hang up. "I'm in a queue, sir. I've been since 8 o'clock this morning." "No mobiles in class, an invariable rule and basic good manners. You should know that. Please don't hang up." I could hear a friendly woman's voice talking on the phone. I was through. He snapped the phone shut and smiled. "Tell me," he said, "what was important about the new ideas that Omo used to promote their washing powder in the 1960s? What was important about them? I'll give you a clue. Suds. Longer-lasting suds. Now then, anything? No, you weren't listening to me, were you? What were you listening to? Little voices in your head or on your mobile. Maybe you'd like to tell me the rest of us what they were saying." It was a level 70 monster question, the kind you're supposed to walk away from. But I engaged instead. I said, "Recent studies have shown the chances of an asteroid hitting Earth any time in the next 100 years are 5,000 to 1. Blatantly, the odds get stronger with every passing day. A big enough asteroid could cause total global extinction, and therefore it doesn't matter how long your suds last. And it doesn't matter if you've been specially selected or not. Sometimes you don't need to take the elixir of Mages first. Sometimes, if you simply step up to the monster, the elixir just comes." He sent me out of the class. Fathers have children. That was the night I finally took down my "It's Your Solar System" glow-in-the-dark mobile. It wasn't even astronomically accurate. It still had Pluto on it, and everybody knows that Pluto's not a planet anymore. It's something a bit too big for an asteroid, but too small for a planet. It's nothing. Like someone who's too big to be a kid and too young to be an adult. And then the phone rang. A friendly voice said, "Hi, Drax Communications. Still want to be the world's best dad?" This time I waited for the options to come up, but they didn't. There was a pause and a friendly voice said, "Hello, Mr. Digby?" "Oh, what? Yeah, that's me. Who's that?" Dr. Dinah Drax here. I've been waiting for your call. You've been waiting for my call? Yes. But I tried to call this morning and I was on hold for about a year. I thought there must have been 1 million people in the queue. But I told you you were specially selected. Didn't you believe me? Yeah, but the on hold thing went on so long. I really wanted to share that piece of music with you. Well, thanks. I enjoyed it. And now to find out how patient you were. Patience to be an essential quality on this trip. Oh, I can be patient. Really, I can sit for hours. Good. Well, Mr. Digby, you're through. That is completely cosmic. A car will collect you from your registered address at 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning. Dr. Drax, the rocket, what kind of ride is it? Is it a reverse bungee or a roller coaster or... Wait and see.
Alfie Skinner, could you come to the office, please? Alfie Skinner to the office.
Wait and see. That's one of the ways in which you can exercise your patience. Now tell me a little bit about the child you'll be bringing. I'd completely forgotten that dads have children. Oh, I do hope it's a girl. We're very short on girls. Oh, she's a girl then. Definitely. Anything you say. And what's her name? Who? Your daughter, Mr. Digby? Oh, my daughter. Time to engage. I said the name of the only daughter I ever had. It's Florida. Her name is Florida. If Liverpool city centre was level 2, a secret location in China must be level 50 at least. I wasn't going to make the same mistake as last time. This time I was going to skill up before levelling up. In World of Warcraft, you have weapon skills, gathering skills, or trade skills. You can have mining skills too, but they're a bit rubbish, and you have to buy a pickaxe. If I was going on a quest disguised as Florida's dad, I would need dad skills. I went through all the books on my dad's bedside table. They were mostly colour charts of quick-drying, low-odour bathroom paints with mad names like Antarctic Glow. But there was one called Talk to Your Teen, which was all about how to trick your teenage son or daughter into talking to you. Unbelievable. It was like finding the cheat sheet for the Orbiter 4, except this wasn't Orbiter 4, it was my life. Look at this. Does your teen sometimes seem sulky and uncommunicative? Meals are the most natural place for conversation to flow. To create the best possible conditions for this, you should turn off the television before eating and try to serve fiddly food. Fiddly food keeps everyone at the table longer, whereas a pizza can be dispensed within a matter of minutes. A kipper can keep a hungry teen at the table for a full half hour. In other words, meals are traps, except what sane person would bait a trap with kippers? It also said, it's very important to show an interest in their world. Ask them about their friends, their music, their books, and their computer games. So he was never interested in the history of Azeroth or the Wanderlust warriors' weapons at all. He was just keeping me talking. I should have realised this before, because when I carefully monitored my dad's conversations for several days, I discovered they can all be broken down into 5 headings, namely, how we got there, what the parking was like, what it was like in the old days, something thoughtful which made you think, something to do with last night's football. For instance, on Saturday morning we went to the new Strand to look for new handles to put on the new kitchen cupboards. We didn't find any, although we did get an amusing cactus holder shaped like a donkey. This is what Dad said. 1. The main road was so choked we'd been better walking. 2. £2 to park for 2 hours and it takes you half an hour to find a space. 3. In the old days, the shop didn't have the right door handles for your cupboards. You came home empty-handed. Nowadays, with shopping malls and what have you, they haven't got your door handles. You buy a cactus holder. It makes you think. 4. Are we really any happier now than we were then? Are we happier because we got a cactus holder? It's not like we've got a cactus. And 5, it's no good scoring lots of goals if you can also concede lots of goals. We need a terrifying central defender. These 5 headings apply to anything. For instance, if my dad ever did go to Azeroth, he'd probably say, 1. We took the Deep Run tram to Stormwind Dwarven District. 2. The tram is free. It's very reliable. You don't have to worry about parking. On the other hand, it was raided by the undead Scourge and lots of us were killed. Luckily, my guild companions have healing powers. 3. There was no such place as Azeroth when we were little. If we wanted to play a fantasy game, we went to use sticks for swords and run round on pretend horses. The sticks really hurt. 4. We looked stupid, but we did get lots of fresh air. And 5. Money has spoiled football. Players now spend more time advertising hair products than they do training. I felt I'd mastered level 1 of being a dad. Now I just had to get myself a daughter.